Yeah. Okay, if there is no doubt, then let's go ahead and we start. Okay, okay, fine, thank you. Yeah. So then go ahead. Let's just start the today's session. So in today's session, we will cover mostly about. Why this one? So I don't know like how to disable this dark mode. And can anyone know? Do anyone know how to disable this? I don't know. Switch background. Yeah. Now it's fine. Okay. So yeah. Let's just start. So so this week we will cover the uh, this week we cover the MOSCAP. So our topic is for this week content is MOSCAP. So we will solve problem related to the MOSCAP. So uh, yeah, so the first problem, if so, yeah, so the first problem describes an external, wait, yeah, an external voltage applied gate voltage on the MOSFET will drop. So, like, let's just see. Let me draw the approximate structure of the MOSFET, MOSFET. So, this is suppose this oxide. This is oxide, and if there is some metal here, so here let's say some metal is there, and this is semiconductor. So, when you start up, if you put the bias in this, so if you pull apply the bias DC voltage across this at the gate terminal and the semiconductor terminal. So this first problem about uh, the where this voltage will appear. So will this appear across this metal, or this voltage is across a oxide, or this occur across the semiconductor. So in metal, as we know, metals are generally in the electrostatic conditions. Normally like if we consider perfect conductor, then uh, metals are equipotential. So the volt that means there will not be any voltage drop across it. This is true only in case of electrostatic condition. But suppose the current is flowing or conduction is taking place, even copper some voltage those have finite resistance, and there may have some voltage drop across the metal also. But that is not the electrostatic condition. So equipotential surface metal behave only under uh, electrostatic condition. So there should not be any movement of charge. Yeah. Uh, so there will not be. We will neglect the voltage drop across this metal. Yeah. So in the oxide there will be drop, and in the semiconductor we will see in the next there is like how exactly the potential will drop across the semiconductor when we solve next problem. So the correct answer is if we take all the assumption that metal is equipotential, does not contain any charge, then we can say the voltage will drop across the oxide and semiconductor. So, uh, so the first option is fully across oxide is wrong. Uh, fully across the semiconductor, that is wrong. Fully across the metal, that is wrong. Partially across the metal and partially across the semiconductor, no. Metal we can assume that or whatever the thickness we use in like defining devices like MOSFET, and then we use hardly some few nanometers or few hundred nanometers of metal thickness. So in those thickness you can just neglect the resistance, That and in those thickness you can just ignore the drop across the metal. So that is also wrong. Partly across the oxide and partly across the semiconductor. That looks convincing. That is correct. And partly across the metal, partly across the oxide. No, there is some drop because of the band bending in the semiconductor also. Even semiconductor has some finite uh, uh, band bending in this, so there will be some drop across the semiconductor. So the correct answer will be the fifth one, partly across the oxide, partly across the semiconductor. Is there any doubt in this? Okay. So with this, let's move to next problem. So for the next problem talks about, for a MOS capacitor in a strong inversion region, the surface charge density what something increase decrease or something with gate voltage. Okay. So now let's just see like what happens in the MOS cap region when you bias in the inversion region. So let me draw the band diagram. So suppose we are assuming ideal MOS capacitor. So uh, ideal MOS capacitor. So ideal MOS capacitor. So what does that ideal means? That so what happens is normally like when you make the devices or deposit something on silicon. So the oxide which is used at the the oxide which use here in the metal oxide junction. That is suppose this is silicon and on the top you have deposited some oxide or you have grown some oxide, thin oxide. So this is some oxide suppose. So what happens is, so when you grow this oxide, so this lattice constant of both the silicon and oxides are not same. Even if you take silicon dioxide, then the lattice constant is not same. So what happens is, at the interface there will be some oxygen or some bond will not be complete actually, because to accommodate both the layer you need some partial some bonds to be missed. Okay. So that means then ideally so in the practical case there should be some unsatisfied bond is there. Because of those bonds can accept or donate the charge, there is a finite or there can be a charge density at the interface. So that is a non-ideal interface, a non-ideal MOSFET. Okay. So that may cause some shift in the threshold and some different characteristics that we will see in the next class. So ideal MOS cap we are assuming here. So the this has uh, no interface or bulk traps. Bulk traps what does mean? When we are depositing this oxide, so this is also sometimes is not this oxide is not sometimes perfect. So there may be suppose this silicon dioxide, if you take example, so it should have four bond around. So in some case, because of some process or this issue, this from some place this oxygen may be missing, from some place this silicon may be missing, or some other atom in place of this. Suppose this due to the process some extra atom, sodium ion comes or potassium ion introduced in the while depositing while growing this oxide, then those will appear as a bulk trap charges. So we are assuming here is the ideal MOSFET. That means that we have no interface of bulk traps. Other thing is uh, so metal work function. So phi of m is equal to as the phi of s. So what does this mean? So metal and semiconductor work function are same. So if we draw the band diagram, suppose this is the vacuum level. So if we draw the band diagram, so how we will draw the band diagram? So yeah. So if so uh, in equilibrium situation, suppose we have not applied the bias. So let's consider this Vg at zero bias. So ideally, so here this side metal is there. This is oxide, and this is semiconductor. This is metal, oxide, semiconductor. Okay. So in this only Fermi level will be there. So uh, only Fermi level will be there. So in this only Fermi level will be there, and in this there is some offset. So oxide has larger band gap. So it we will so this is the band gap of oxide. So it has larger band gap. Similarly, we will draw the so Fermi level in the semiconductor. So this is EF in the semiconductor. This is EF in the metal. Uh, just wait. Yeah. So this is Fermi level in the metal. This is Fermi level in the semiconductor. And if we draw the valence conduction band, then we can draw it here. So this is the conduction band, and if we draw this is the valence band. Okay. So this is EV, this is EC. So this I am drawing for NMOS. So basically, in case of NMOS, as we have seen in the last class, that the substrate is P type. Okay. So now, so the ideal band diagram will look like this. So the Fermi level will be throughout the same. So there should not be metal Fermi level will be same as the semiconductor Fermi level in equilibrium. Now what will happen? So if we take so this is the metal work function phi m, and this is the semiconductor work function phi s. So if phi m equals to phi s, that at Vg equals to 0, the both the Fermi levels will align. So that what does that means? We don't need to move any charges, or any bending should not be there. So there will not be any bending present. So yeah. Let me draw this a bit. Yeah. Okay. So now, yeah. So okay. So now if we draw the EI level, so EI level will be around midway between the EV and EI. So this EI, so this EI minus EF is known as the work function. So phi F, known as the phi F, surface potential in the bulk. So this EI in the EI minus ES difference will be known as the phi F in the uh, in case of metal. So in semiconductor deep into the bulk, this is known as the phi F. Okay. So now let's just see. Yeah. So what happens? So under strong inversion, so this is we drawn for Vg equals to 0 volt. Now what will happen? So as we apply the negative bias, so let's just apply the negative bias. What will happen? So if we apply the negative bias, so negative bias, so Vg less than 0. So what will happen? So uh, this band will move up. So this band will be equals to minus q times Vg. It will move. So so Vg is negative, then this band will move up. So it will be like this. So this is minus q times Vg. Just wait. So this is minus q times Vg, and similarly, so there will be a voltage drop across this oxide. So this whatever the applied voltage will drop partially across Vox plus Vsi. So what will happen? This band will bend like this, and as the this band is moved up, so there will be so this band also will move up. There will be accumulation of charge carrier from at this interface. So this will go up, this also will go up, this also will go up. So now this is at the Vg less than 0. Okay. So uh, this is yeah, so the boundary condition will satisfied, we can satisfy from this field in the at the interface. So uh, epsilon ox equals to epsilon uh, so just so this will be equals to epsilon ox, epsilon like dielectric constant in the epsilon multiplied by E ox equals to epsilon Si times ESI. So this boundary condition we need to maintain. As we apply this negative bias, then there will be accumulation, and as you apply the positive bias, what will happen? This band will move down. So here it will move down. So let me represent as a different color. So in case of positive bias, so this will move minus q Vg. So in case of the positive bias, this will be minus q times Vg, and the band will look like this, and here it will bend like this. Okay, so the band is coming down. So that means so in case of negative voltage, this, as you see, this this EF is, so this EF level at the surface is becoming more closer to the conduction band. So what does it mean? That the semiconductor at the surface, semiconductor at the surface is becoming more p type. So when it will become more p type, when there is a movement of hole from bulk to the interface, then it will become p type, and the band will be moving up. So for Vg less than 0, it is in the accumulation region, accumulation of holes for NMOS. Now if we apply the positive bias, then this band is going down, and this, so basically, so this basically so uh, basically this band is bringing down at the interface. This so this is EC and this is EF. So EC is coming more closer to EF. So that means at the interface the semiconductor is becoming more n type. So what does it mean? That the holes are getting pulled away from the band, and this ionized donors are ionized acceptors are getting ionized. So so that's why this at the interface is becoming more n type. So in case of inversion, what will happen? So this so here let me draw this interface. So basically if this is your EFS and this is your EI. So if you draw this EI and this is your just wait a minute.                                                                                                                     yeah. So this is your EV, this is your EC, and if you draw EI, then you will draw something like this. So this is EI. So in case of p type, what happens is when your semiconductor is p type, p type case, so this is EI level, which is around mid gap, and EF is lie below the EI level. So in this case of p type semiconductor, this EF, this is, so EF lies below the EI level. Similarly, in case of P type N type material, EF lies above the EI level. So this is EF, this is EI. So this is N type, and this is P type. So what happens? What is the meaning of inversion? So as we apply more and more gate bias in case of NMOS, then this band will become more and more band bending will be there, and when this band bending at the surface is equals to the positive band bending at the bulk. So when this EF minus EI equals to, so the at the interface, if you consider this as an interface, so EI, so EI at the interface minus EF at the interface uh, is equals to minus of phi f. Okay, so if we take, so EI minus EF is basically phi f, and at the initial, so the the surface potential is known as this, how much this band, how much this uh, how much this uh, this EI level is bent from the initial level. So initial it was the here, now it has shifted from initial this to 2 phi f. So basically this has shifted to 2 phi f. So at the case of inversion, so surface potential at inversion is 2 phi f. Okay, so now this bend, so now this bend will be there, and after, as you apply more and more negative bias, there will not be much change in the depletion width, as we have seen in the class, because now this electron concentration at the surface is Ni time exponential of psi s by kBt. So as you can see, this is the electron concentration is exponential function of psi s, and psi s, your depletion width is square root of depletion width is basically square root of psi s. So depletion width, so if psi s, so if psi s increase by some amount, then ns will increase by exponential amount. So what will happen, then this depletion width will not extend much. And there is one more concept is, like as you increase this depletion width, what will happen, the thermal generation in this depletion width will start increase. So once the depletion width is reached at the particular level, there will be thermal generation due to the thermal generation rate will be more compared to the charge required to invert the channel. So after that the charge will come out from the thermal generation also. So at the inversion, what will happen is, so this charge is so this so after the inversion, so this charge will, since this charge is exponential function of this uh, surface potential, so this surface potential will change very small compared to the charge change. So what will happen when you apply more negative gate bias, then this charge at the interface, so this is negative charge, this is positive charge, this will increase, so this will increase much larger at the interface only. So what will happen, the uh, whole voltage now after the inversion will appear across the oxide region only. And this oxide, since capacitance is small, so this oxide, so this qualitatively we can see this C ox is basically uh, Q ox, uh, Q ox by C ox, V ox. So uh, since this is constant, then your Q ox will be directly proportional to V ox. Before this, it won't be directly proportional, because now what will happen, after the inversion this charge is appearing at the interface only, but before the inversion in the deep depletion region, it is not, the charge is not appearing at the oxide region, charge is distributed throughout the depletion region. Okay, so now in case of MOS capacitor in the strong inversion region, surface charge density will increase linearly with the gate voltage. So uh, please keep in mind that this is the case of only in the case of strong inversion. If you asked about any other region, that you need to drive, and that will not increase linearly. So is that clear, or any doubt? I hope is clear. Okay, so let's just move to next problem. So yeah, so a MOS capacitor. So a MOS capacitor can be represented as one constant and one constant and one current controlled capacitor in the series. So as we see, like we are applying the voltage, there is no current flow. This equilibrium is maintained across this region. So this first option is not correct. One constant and one current control capacitor in the this. So this is not current control. Basically, it's voltage control. So one constant and one voltage control capacitor in parallel. So uh, basically, to know the this capacitance, so basically, so we can, so if this is, suppose this is semiconductor, this is oxide, hydrogen oxide. Let me draw this. So if this is oxide and if this is metal, so then the this uh, there will be depletion, like as you apply the positive bias, there will be depletion of uh, this holes from here. So that means this negative charge will come here. So this negative space charge region will form, and this, so the capacitance we define as a as the capacitance we define as the rate of change of charge, dq by dv. So if you apply, suppose you apply some dc plus, just wait, yeah. So basically capacitance here is this dq by dv. So if we apply the DC voltage, so how the capacitance is measured in like practical scenario. So so what we do, we apply a gate bias. So how the capacitance versus voltage characteristics are obtained. So basically we apply DC plus AC signal. So let me. So we apply an AC signal plus an DC signal. So this is VDC plus VAC. So this capacitance is defined as the change in. So whatever is happening, we applying a bias voltage and then on the top of that some change in charge is there, so some signal that is moving fast, that we measure. So basically, so how to obtain the capacitance voltage characteristics. So what will happen is, uh, these capacitance voltage characteristics come like this. In case of low frequency, this will comes up. So what has happened? So actually, so now as we change, so as we now if let's just say, uh, if we are applying DC voltage, so if we are applying changing the DC voltage, then Vg less than 0 will be the accumulation case only. So our the capacitance, so the charge will appearing at this interface only. So the charge interface will be this interface and this interface only. So charge will appear at the oxide only. So the total capacitance will be of equals to C oxide only. As we start applying the positive bias, this substrate will become depleted. Then this immobile charge, space charge region will form. As we change, as we apply this, so there are two phenomena is there. So the capacitance is change in charge. So uh, this like if we change small voltage very fast, so this will increase depletion bit a little bit. So actually, now our charge, like after inversion charge appear at that only. That is like that appears at that interface only if you wait for sufficient time actually. So if you consider, if you are using if your frequency is high, so or even in the depletion case, if your, so this depletion width is not large enough at the depletion case, so that it supplies the thermal generated charge carriers, and we will get whatever the charge is stored in this. So our the total capacitance will be C ox uh, series with uh, C silicon. So it will be series combination of C ox and C silicon. Okay, uh, and the other case, and that those will be, so we can assume this as a one capacitor. This also act as a one capacitor, because now the change in charge is here only, not at this interface actually. So if you wait for some sufficient time, if you are applying very slow frequency like this low frequency case, then this charge appear will be moved at this interface, then you will get the oxide capacitance only. But if your frequencies is high, so that frequency is decided by the thermal generation of charge carrier, thermal generation rate. So that is dependent on the thermal generation rate. So to answer this question, yeah, so the answer of this question will be one constant. So this C ox is constant because this depletion bit. So parallel plate capacitor is directly proportional to epsilon area by T. So thickness we are not changing, area we are not changing, epsilon is fixed. So Cs will be constant, and in this semiconductor in the depletion region, this depletion bit is changing. That's why this capacitance will also get changed. So this is basically the voltage control capacitor. So we can represent the MOS capacitor as one constant and one voltage control capacitor in series basically. So is there any doubt up to now? Okay, so let's just move to next problem. So So in this problem, the energy band diagram of a MOSFET is sketched in the figure below. So just wait. Okay. So yeah, Venn diagram is shown in the way. Assume that the electrostatic potential is zero in the semiconductor bulk. So this semiconductor bulk potential is zero. So after this the potential drop V bulk is zero. That is at large distance from Si O2 interface. There is no metal semiconductor work function difference. Assume that the relative dielectric constant of the oxide will be epsilon ox uh, is 3.9. So epsilon ox is given as 3.9. Take Ni as 10 power 10, Kt as 26 milli electron volt, Eg as 1.8, epsilon s as 11.8. So what is the value of phi f? So what is the value of phi f? What is phi f? So basically phi f is difference between EI and EF. So this is EI. So phi f is phi f is equals to EI minus EF in the bulk. So deep away from the interface, what is EI minus EF? So EI minus EF, as you have given, this is given as 0.2 and this EI is less. So this is n-type semiconductor. So this will be the EI minus EF will be equals to the negative sign of that, which will be equals to minus 0.42 electron volt. So the answer will be minus 4.42 electron volt. Now it is asked what is the surface potential. As we the surface potential is uh, difference of uh, the phi s is so phi s is EI in the bulk minus EI in the surface. So in this diagram, if we see EI in the bulk is at this level and EI is the surface. So this is given as 0.3 electron volt. So this is given as 0.3 electron volt. So similarly EI will also bend at 0.3. So this will also will be at 0.3. So this phi s minus EI minus phi s is, so EI is 0.3 electron volt below the EIS. So that is the EI minus EIS will be equals to minus 0.3 electron volt. So it will be the negative minus 3 electron volt. What is the applied gate voltage? So as we have seen, so the total gate voltage, so total gate voltage Vg will be equal to Vox plus Vsi. Okay, and V silicon is very same as the surface potential psi s. So the total Vg will be Vox plus surface. Yeah. So and in this from the band diagram, this band from the equilibrium case, it is shifted 0.96 electron volt up. So this is equals to minus q times Vg. So minus q times Vg is 0.96 electron volt. So if we cancel this electron volt, then Vg will be equals to minus 0.96 electron 96 volt. So this will be minus 0.96 volt. What is the voltage across oxide? So now so this Vg is equals to the voltage across oxide plus voltage across the semiconductor. Voltage across the semiconductor is same as the surface potential. So we are provided Vg as minus 0.96 volt, and Vox we need to find plus psi s is minus zero point 0.3. So this will become Vox as minus 0.66 volt. So this is minus 0.66 volt. So now so yeah, so this is minus 6. Now next we are asked what is the doping density. So basically doping density, how we can calculate, because semiconductor is same, that a bias will not change the doping density. So if we can calculate the doping intensity in the bulk also, then we can get the uh, uh, it will be equals to uh, so so this phi f, so phi f is basically equals to kt by q ln uh, nd by ni. So if we can calculate this, so phi f we are given, phi f is given as 0.42, so 0.42, uh, so yeah, so it is given as 0.42 times, this is given as 0.025 electron volt, time ln nd by ni is given as 10 power 10. So if you take log on both sides, so it will become exponential in other side. So nd will become uh, exponential of ni times 10 power 10 times exponential of 0.42 by 0.025 electron volt. So if you calculate this, then you will find out that if you solve it correctly, then you will reach that the nd is around 1.71 into 10 power 617 per centimeter cube. What is the depletion width of the region? So how to calculate the depletion width? So basically, so now the depletion width we can calculate just by uh, the depletion width we can calculate by uh, just this. So we know, so the electric field will be the constant in this oxide region, and the in the semiconductor region it will be the linear function actually. So it will be linear. So if we know so we know the electric field at the surface, semiconductor surface, is equals to q nd by epsilon si times w, where w is the depletion width. Okay, so if we calculate the or yeah, this we can this we can uh, put and the surface potential we can put out by this. So w is basically then if the field is this, then your surface potential will become like this. So surface potential will be equals to q, it will be half of surface potential will be half of uh, q nd by this epsilon si times w. So the area of this curve will be your surface potential, so area of this curve will be the surface potential. Then this psi s will be equals to this time w. So this this half of epsilon si max multiply by w, that is the area under this. So it will be equals to so half of q nd w square by epsilon si. So if you take w in this other side, so w will be equals to 2 epsilon si by q nd times psi s. So if you put all the values, 2 times 11.9 multiplied by that is 11.8. Yeah, so that is 11.8 multiplied by 8.854 into 10 power minus 14 multiply by, so this by q 1.6 in 10 power minus 19 multiply by nd is 10 power 17, then psi s is minus zero point 0.3. So you take this as a mod of this, then you can find the surface potential of this. So if you solve it correctly, the width of the depletion region that will come out as around 62.5 nanometer. Okay, so is there any doubt up to now? Okay, so yeah, with this let's move to next problem. Match the energy band diagram with corresponding to charge block diagram as shown in figure. Also state the biasing condition for the case. So we assume here the uh, so yeah, so we assume here with three case. So let's just take first. Let's just analyze the first case. So this so this is p-type substrate, and here the band is, so the Fermi level is above this thing. So Fermi level is this. So this is band is at the metal side is going down. So that is minus q vg is equals to minus vg. So that means we have applied the positive bias. This band is going down, and this ei uh, at the interface just become equals to the EAF. So that means the surface potential is just equals to the phi f. So this is like, this is just at the end of depletion. Beyond this, if you apply more positive bias, then this voltage will become more and more more and more like the if the surface will become more and more n type, and the inversion will start happening. So basically up to now, this the at the zero bias, the interface was p type. As you applying more and more bias, then the depletion of majority charge carriers is taking place, and the surface is becoming more and more n type. So so this is the case of depletion region. So let's just see like which case we have depletion region. So in the second case, we have not given any depletion charge formed. So the yeah, so yeah, so in second case, there is no any depletion of charge carriers is taking place. At the very interface the charge is there, and the positive interface positive charge is there. At the semiconductor interface negative charge is there. So that will only possible if if there is uh, if there is if there is the accumulation of holes at the interface. Okay, so no no yeah, so uh, this negative charge will appear only so only if you apply the negative bias, then uh, substrate has huge number of majority charge carriers. So those will come at the interface only. Then there will be accumulation of charge carrier will take place. Yeah. Uh, okay. Yeah. So the accumulation of charge carrier will take place. So so in this case, so let's just analyze the three case. So this is P type substrate. This is N type substrate. So as you can see, the in the bulk, the EC is more closer to EF. Okay. So if you apply the negative bias here, so yeah, so if you apply the negative bias here, then the charge at this interface will be positive, and this there will be this accumulation of electrons at this interface. So here the accumulation of electrons. So yeah, so the accumulation of electrons will take place, and what condition? So here this some depletion is there, here also some depletion is there. Only in case of B there is no depletion. Okay, so the third case is B. So now in case of first, there is no inversion forming, only depletion is there. So the first case is C1. And the third case, there is this surface like this EI will become lesser than like EI is lesser than EF, so this surface will become more and more N type. So this inversion will start taking off. So this first case is inversion. So the correct answer is first is C, and this depletion, and second is A, and that is inversion. So first is C, that is depletion, second is A, that is inversion, third is B, that is accumulation. So the correct answer is this one, first one. So the first option is correct. So here the voltage so yeah, so this is the correct answer. Is there any doubt in this? Okay, so let's just move to, yeah. Is there any doubt? All right, now. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so let's just move to next problem. So identify the surface potential range corresponding to the accumulation, depletion, and inversion in the ideal MOS device from the view. So uh, uh, so NMOS, basically NMOS. So this the as we apply the negative bias, so what will happen? So if we draw the band diagram correct, so this is the if we take just if we take the let me, okay, so if we take this, no, yeah, just wait. Okay, so if we draw the band diagram for this, so if we draw the band diagram, so this you should create the habit that any case you will be able to draw the band diagram very freely. So let's take the uh, so we are provided NMOS. So in NMOS substrate is P type. So if we draw the this metal, so this is metal oxide semiconductor. So then we draw the Fermi level. So this will be constant. So this is EFS, this is EFM. We are assuming ideal MOS cap. Then this is NMOS. So the EF will be more closer to the valence band. So it will be like this, and similarly this conduction band will be here. Now we can write the in the oxide case, and this will be the our, and here if we draw the this is EI level, just mid of the balance band. This is EC and this is EV, right? So yeah, so now if we apply the positive gate bias, so if we apply the positive gate bias, so yeah, so if we apply the positive gate bias, then this surface potential will this band will bend down, so it will start becoming like this. So this surface potential will go down, this also will go down, this also will go down, and when this when this this is known as the surface potential psi s. So when psi s is equals to 2 times psi f, so this is your psi f. So if psi s is 2 times psi f, then that after that when psi s is greater than 2 times psi f, that is known as the strong inversion region. And when psi s is less than 2 psi f and greater than 0, that is known as the depletion region. And when psi s is less than 0, so then psi s is less than 0, that is known as the accumulation region. So in case of psi s less than 0, how the band diagram will look like? It will bend like in other direction. So it will bend like this. Similarly here it will be like this, here it will be like this, here also it will be like this will be like this. And in case of the it will be so in case of negative gate voltage, for NMOS it will go like this. So the positive voltage gate voltage, this will look like this will bend like this, and this will bend like this. So if we draw the correct band diagram, so after the inversion, so when psi s is greater than 2 psi f, then this inversion region will come. So with this and when psi f is between 0 to 2 psi f, then depletion is there. When psi f is less than 0, then our accumulation is there. So the correct answer will be C1. Similarly you can draw for PMOS also. Yeah, so you can draw the band diagram for PMOS also. So PMOS, the trend will be just reverse. So if you take PMOS, so for PMOS, the band will be just invert. So it will invert in the like accumulation depletion will come in the negative voltage, and the inversion will be the at the minus 2 psi f. So in case of PMOS, this will be like this: 0 minus 2 psi f, and this. So this is the like below this minus 2 psi f, there will be inversion. Below between this there will be depletion, and above this psi s, this is psi s. When psi s is greater than 0, that will be accumulation. So this is in the case of PMOS. So NMOS is trend is just reverse. So yeah. Okay. So is there any doubt up to now? Yeah. So let's just move to next problem. Yeah. So let's just move to next problem. The electric field profile. So the electric field profile for an ideal MOSFET device are shown in figure 4 below. Identify type of MOS device corresponding to field profile in A and B. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, so let's just see. Electric field profiles are shown in 4. Then identify the type of MOS devices corresponding to field profile in A and B. So in case of this, so our if we are applying the negative bias, so so basically this band is going up. Okay, so just wait. Yeah, so this band is going up, so this may be due to the applied bias. So as you know, uh, so this the field is positive in this. So what does that means? The field is in positive direction. So that means you have so this electric field is positive. So that means this charge will be negative charge, because uh, this uh, dE by dx is minus rho by epsilon. So if this the field will be positive, that integral of this area will be positive, then only or integral no, this is field. If we plot the charge density profile, if that profile is negative, then only we will get, so the electric field will be q n d by epsilon w minus x minus. Okay, so if at x equals to 0, this will be minus q n d by epsilon times w. Okay, so if the charge is negative, then only the field will become the positive. So this, as we have given, this field is positive in the semiconductor as well as the oxide junction. So field is positive, so this implies that charge density should be negative. So if the charge density is negative, then this charge density is due to the depletion of majority charge carrier. That means the substrate is p type. Implies the substrate is p type. P type. So that means this both are, so both, and for one case, like as we have seen, this depletion bit after this become constant. Only the two difference between these two profile is you have applied bias. You are applying more bias in A compared to more less bias in B. So the correct answer, both A and B correspond to PMOS, that is wrong. Both A and B correspond to NMOS, that is correct. A correspond to NMOS while B corresponding to PMOS. No. If the A correspond to NMOS, if the B correspond to PMOS, then the field in the PMOS should be negative. Okay. So the charge density in the PMOS is positive. So here this positive charge is there. then the field corresponding should be come like this. It should be negative actually. Similarly, the fourth option will also be wrong. That is also not correct, because the field profile is similar in both the cases. Only the depletion, the only the charge difference is there, and the field under the oxide is changed. So the correct answer will be 12th one. Yeah. Yeah. So now now the electric field profile for ideal MOSFET devices are shown in below. Consider the bias regions of accumulation, depletion, and inversion. Identify the bias region correspond to field profile in A and B. Okay. So let's just see. So as we have see, so as this band is moving up, as this band is moving up, the field is positive. Okay. So the field is positive means this positive gate voltage is applied. So the positive gate voltage is applied. So the gate voltage Vg is positive. So what happened? What is the difference between two profiles? This, see, the as you apply the more and more bias, so what will happen? So if you apply this the boundary condition, so at the interface, the boundary condition will be epsilon ox. Uh, so epsilon ox is the permittivity of the oxide region. E ox is the field in the oxide region. Multiply equals to the epsilon Si, field in Si in the semiconductor region. So field in the silicon region will be epsilon ox by epsilon Si multiplied by epsilon field in ox region. So the field in the silicon will be some scaled version of field in the oxide region. So if oxide region has some field, the field at this interface. So this field ESI is basically, this field ESI is the field at the interface. At the like if you go away from the interface, the field will start decreasing. So this is at the interface. So yeah, so this boundary condition if we solve, then as we know, no, this, as in case of the A case, the, so in case of what happens in the accumulation, there is no depletion is there, but in the both the cases some depletion is there. That's why this field is linearly dependent. E is directly proportional to x. So that means there is some charge present in the this region. So that means there is some kind of depletion is already there. So this means that it is depleted. But what is difference from A to B case? You see, when we apply more and more positive bias, this depletion width is not extending more into the depletion region. Only the field is increasing. So only the interface is getting inverted, and the depletion is not going deep into the depletion region. So what does it mean? That happens only in case of when you start experiencing the inversion or strong inversion case. So this A is more applied bias. So since this depletion width is not extending, then that means this is the inversion start to happen. Then our A case is the inversion region, and B corresponds to the depletion region. Okay. So the correct answer will be, so let's just analyze all the options. Both A and B correspond to the depletion region. No, if that is the depletion region, so the profile will should move like this. So if we so the profile should move like this. So this is the initial profile. It will look move like this. So as you apply more and more bias, so it will be like this. So yeah, so this should be parallel. It should move like this. The slope is constant, but in inversion case, this slope start getting changes. It is not getting uh, deep into the depletion region. Only the slope will start change. So that you can account for the inversion and depletion. Okay, so is there so uh, both A and B correspond to the inversion region? No, that is not the correct region. Uh, uh, A and B may be so this second option may also be correct because we don't know even if B is getting inverted, B is already inverted, then also it will slope will get changed. So field in the oxide, just wait. Yeah, so after the inversion region, after yeah, so this is B is depletion because the after like the uh, after inversion region is reached, this field actually will have a larger slope. uh, I think both this answer may also be correct actually because the field in this case the field these two may be in the both the inversion region also. So the B also both A and B corresponding to accumulation, this is completely wrong. A corresponding to depletion while B corresponding to inversion, no, that is not, because we are applying more positive bias, the depletion is not extending, so that means the at the positive bias this more this inversion is happening. A corresponding to inversion while B corresponding to depletion, that may also be the case actually. So uh, we need to so the boundary of depletion is just you need to find what is the psi s. So if psi s is 2 psi f, psi s is greater than 2 psi f, then your strong inversion will be there. A correspond to depletion and B correspond to accumulation, that is not wrong. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So is there any doubt in this? Okay. So yeah. So if there is no doubt, let's move to next problem. So the electric field profile for ideal MOSFET devices are shown in figure 4 below. Given the below three statement, the jump and the discontinuity at the interface is due to difference in the permittivities of silicon dioxide and silicon. So yeah, so this at the silicon dioxide and silicon, so oxide semiconductor boundary, there is so this D1 equals to D2 boundary condition, or you can apply like D1 minus D2 equals to rho s. So this rho is the surface charge density, d1 is the uh, like the electric flux in this direction and this electric displacement, and d2 is the electric displacement in the silicon. So if we assume the surface charge density is 0, the ideal MOSFET, then we'll reach d1 equals to d2, and d1 we can write this as epsilon ox E ox equals to epsilon silicon E silicon. So the field difference is only because this oxide epsilon difference and epsilon silicon are different. So these two are different, that's why fields are different. The jump in the discontinuity at the interface is due to the difference in semiconductor and the uh, semiconductor and the metal work function. No, the discontinuity in the field is due to the this permittivity is different. Okay, so if you take both silicon silicon germanium, they if you take both silicon silicon junction, if one is less p type or n type, there the electron affinities are not same or work functions are not same, but even still their field discontinuity is not there. If you take the example of p-n junction, so if p-n junction, if both sides silicon is there, the band diagram will look like this. So uh, uh, so even in this case, the work function is in the n side and p side. Work function from the this is difference. So basically here you draw the band diagram from the electron affinity level, but the work function is different. So the if you before making junction, the electron Fermi level and hole Fermi levels are different at the different level. So that means the this has this work function and this has larger work function. Okay, so p type has larger work function. So but the field if you take so that discontinuity is not there. So in the case of p-n junction, the field profile looks like this. So field profile is in case of p-n junction, field profile is line. So although there is abrupt change in field, but this is continuous only. So this is continuous but not differentiable. So this field is continuous. So field discontinuity is there only because of the different materials are there. The jump and the discontinuity at the interface A is higher than uh, due to the presence of charge carrier at the interface. So here we assume ideal case. No, this is not because of the charge carrier. This is because of the metal oxide boundary condition is there. So the correct answer will be statement S1 is true, S2 and S3 are false. So the correct answer will be last option. So the jump continuity at the interface A is higher than B due to the presence of charge carrier. No, we have not assumed any charge carrier. So even without the presence of the charge carrier, discontinuity will be there because of the difference in permittivity level. So second is false. Only first is true. So yeah. So let's just move to next problem. So in this it is given the uh, the charge block diagram of semiconductor is shown in figure below. Uh, what is the correct if block given to the charge block diagram? So there is a negative charge present in this interface. There is a positive charge in this present. When the positive charge will be there, when there are donor type atoms are there. Okay, so donor types atoms are there. Then that means this substrate is N type. So now since there is no inversion charge is forming, so this is only at the depletion. And since this oxide and semiconductor has different this uh, different permittivity, then there will be sudden discontinuity in the electric field profile. So from the discontinuity profile we can just eliminate A and B C option directly, because the field can't be continuous if you are using two different dielectric materials. So if the dielectric constant is different, then field can't be continuous. So yeah, so either B or D option can be correct. But the B option, so the electric field, so this charge is positive, so the integration of this charge, so so the electric field is minus q nd by epsilon, w minus x is there, so this nd is positive, So this means that this the field will be this one. So field will be this. So at x equals to 0, the field will be minus q nd by epsilon w. So nd is positive. So the charge density is positive. So that means the field at the interface will be negative. So this in this case the field at the interface is positive. In this case field at the interface is negative. So the only the correct answer is this one. So only the depletion is there. Then this field profile will look like this, and in the oxide also the field will be negative only. So this is the case for the correct answer is D1. So let's. Is there any doubt? This was simple, straightforward this time. So let's just move to next problem. The charge the block diagram for the semiconductor is shown below. What is the correct electrostatic potential according to the given charge? So basically your electric potential. So uh, electric field is minus dV by dx. So if you integrate the electric field potential, that is just integral of E dx from something some limit E1 to E2. So if you integrate the electric field profile, so electric field profile was like this. So electric field profile was so electric field here it was like that, and this. So in this region, as we see like in the bulk region, the potential is 0 because the band is flat, so there is no band bending. So if we start integrating this, so this is so the potential in this is basically just the area under this curve. So if you start integrating from right side, so the initial field profile is 0, so the potential will be 0. So if we start plotting the potential profile, so if we draw this boundary and this boundary, so now 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 the potential profile will look like this. So beyond this, if we assume the depletion condition, the area under the curve will be 0. Now since this E is uh, increasing linearly, then this V of x is just the area under this curve. So so V of x is just area under this curve. So this uh, the area under this curve half is E of x times uh, w minus x. So which will become half of q n d w minus x by epsilon si times w minus x. So this will become, this is V of x, it will become half of q n d by epsilon si uh, w minus x by whole square. So at x equals to 0 it will be this, and this negative sign will also be there. So in the negative direction it will increase, and the relationship is directly so relationship is inversely proportional to w minus x. So as we move this, so it will be is a parabolic kind of one. So similarly in the, and the potential is always continuous. So then this, in this the field is linear, field is constant, then this potential area under this curve will be linear. So this potential will be linear after this. So the potential profile will look like this. So the correct answer will be A1. Okay, so let's just move to next problem. Uh, yeah, so the problem statement is defined as a graduate student and is graduate student X fabricated semiconductor oxide semiconductor capacitor Please mind, this is semiconductor oxide semiconductor. This is SOS. So both sides, now this metal is not there. Yeah. Capacitor, which metal gate is replaced by the semiconductor. A SOS capacitor differs from the MOS capacitor due to the fact that semiconductor gate may be biased in the accumulation, depletion, or inversion depending on the applied gate voltage. Match the following correctly. Assume that a semiconductor oxide semiconductor composed of two identical. So please mind, these two identical NMOS type electrodes are there. So assume ideal structure. So yeah. So match the correct energy band diagram for the structure corresponding to the charge block diagram when Vg equals to 0. So as we know, this case, since both the sides the semiconductors are same, so this work function or electron affinity of both the sides are same, and this the Fermi level will be flat throughout. So the band diagram will be the first one. So the band diagram will be the first one, and since there is the Fermi levels are completely aligned, so there will not be any band bending present in the oxide region. So that means then there is no charge at the interface or bulk and anywhere will be there. So the correct option will be C1. So no charge anywhere. So 1 is C. So the correct answer is C1. When you apply uh, zero gate bias, match the correct energy band. So if for the this case, first case, it will be so when gate voltage is 0, the correct answer will be 1 will be matched to C1, C option. So this C option is correct. Let's move to the same problem, the next different question. So same problem statement. Match the correct energy band diagram for the structure corresponding to the charge block diagram uh, when Vg is greater than 0 but small Vg is there. Okay. So now let's see. So this is the this is the this is the oxide junction. Here this side the semiconductor, this side semiconductor is there, this side semiconductor is there, and we are applying uh, we are applying positive gate voltage. So here this is positive. So both side, so the what happened is, since this is a symmetry, so the potential will be 0 at the symmetry of the two junctions. So one side the negative potential will be there, minus Vg by 2 will be there, other side Vg by 2 will be there. So the total potential drop across this will be Vg by 2. Okay. So this is same as two MOS junction. One is applied on the positive gate bias, other is applied on the negative gate bias. So what will happen in the one case? So this semiconductor is applied. Applied positive gate voltage with respect to the this symmetry point. Uh, Here the semiconductor is applied negative gate voltage with respect to this symmetry point. So the voltage at this is will be larger compared to this. So that means the so semiconductor to the oxide, there will be positive voltage applied. So here the n-type silicon substrate is given. So if the positive gate voltage is applied in the negative side, then there will be accumulation happening. So right side junction, the accumulation will happen. In the left side, this this semiconductor surface is higher potential compared to the silicon surface, that means the depletion will happen. So depletion will happen. So the correct band diagram. So the correct band diagram. Uh, uh, so the correct band diagram will be uh, accumulation of electrons. So right side the accumulation of electron will be there. So in case of this, which side has the accumulation of electron is happening in this second part only. So the second part is here is the accumulation is happening, here the depletion of electron is happening. Okay, so this 2 will be the correct one, and which choice will match to 2? The accumulation of electron in the right side is this one, and and since Bg is applied is small only, so only the inversion will not be there, so this can also be true. But since in this inversion is happening and our voltage is not large compared to the 2 psi f, then the correct answer will be F option. So the correct answer for this will be 2F. So the correct answer for 18 is 2F. So so this 2 will match to F. So match the correct band diagram for the structure corresponding to the charge Boolerock diagram when Bg is greater than 0 and very large. So what will happen? In the right side, more and more will carrier will get accumulated. Then this negative charge will form at the very large negative charge, and the at the left side there will be depletion will be there, plus inversion charge will be there. So here the this will become accumulation. So here the right side is the accumulation, and left side, as you see, this psi s is moved above the psi f. So this the inversion is happening. So the third will be the inversion in the left side and accumulation in the right side. So which is the option matching to this? So the A option is matching to this. So the correct option will be 3 of A. So the correct option will be 3A. So this was, I think, one of the gate problem. I feel, yeah. So that was the last problem for today. Okay, so is there any doubt related to any question we solved today, or any assignment or any material covered in the previous session? Because I think some mid-sem or exam will be there, so you can ask any doubt if you have. So I will wait for some time. If you have any doubt come to your mind, you can just turn on your mic, start speaking, or you can write in the chat box also. Okay, so if there is no doubt as such, so we can end this session today. We will meet next time in the same slot, same time. Thank you so much for listening this session. We will meet same time. Have a nice time. Yeah, just okay. So someone has doubt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so electron concentration and doping concentration. Okay, so let me explain. So you have time, right? 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so what happens is so doping is basically so doping is so suppose you have this silicon lattice is there. Suppose you have this silicon lattice. So in this silicon atoms are there. Okay, so suppose these silicon atoms are there. So ideally, what happens in if your silicon like if there is no defects or no impurities present in the silicon, so all these bonds will be complete only. So what will happen in the complete bond? All the valence state of the silicon atoms or any other semiconductor material atoms will be completely satisfied. So at the equilibrium, so there will be some bond will break or some bond break bond will be broke and start forming some bond, but the semiconductor so the total what will happen in this ideal piece of semiconductor, electron will get generated. So electron is basically when we have excess of electron. So this each silicon atom has four electrons in this their outer cell. So the four will form the covalent bond. So ideally, if you take the ideal piece of semiconductors, there should not be any electron, any hole should not be there, any electron should not be there. So what happens is at the room temperature there is equivalent like this bond formation or break, like uh, this some bond will break. So this some bond will break and so this bond will break some other bond. So similarly other bond will break. So at equilibrium there are average number of bonds that those are broken. So that that correspond to your Ni. So intrinsic carrier concentration, that is 10 power 10 per centimeter cube, because at equilibrium some electron and hole some these bonds are broken. uh, they continuously forming. So on an average there is a number of bonds are broken and that many number of electrons are available, or that twice the number, because one bond broken will generate two electrons. Okay, two unpaired electrons. Okay, so that those electrons will be there. Now now what happens is this 10 power 10 concentration, 10 power 10 number of electrons is not that much actually. So if you conduct into the conductivity at the if you don't do any doping, then your intrinsic silicon is not it's not that poor conductor as the insulator, but is not a good conductor and not much of use, like whatever you use for devices, it not much of use. So intrinsic silicon does not have any value. So like then people find an ingenious way. So what happens, so people dope the semiconductor. So what happens is when you dope it, suppose when you dope the semiconductor, so this silicon atom here is replaced by this some phosphorus. So if you replace this atom by phosphorus, for p n type and boron for p type. So if you uh, replace phosphorus atom with the one of the silicon site, what will happen is phosphorus has five unpaired electron in this outer shell. So what will happen? Four of them will form the covalent bond, and one electron will be free. So that is free. So that will be used as the we can use as the carrier actually. So ideally, so what happens is, so this electron at the room temperature will be free, completely free. So that it can move to the conduction band and it can take part in the conduction band. And the phosphorus has one free electron. So we can say that one phosphorus atom has a one free electron, so Nd phosphorus atom will contribute to n electrons actually. But the thing is, like if you consider like there are a case like so is this clear to you up to now? I have a few more things to explain. Hello, yeah, is this clear up to now? Okay, so now phosphorus atom at room temperature. So basically, what happens is, so this electron is not always free actually. So that is dependent on temperature. So if you draw the Venn diagram, the phosphorus, if you draw the energy level of this phosphorus atom, that will come out as around something less than 25 milli electron volt. Okay, so the kT thermal energy is 25 milli electron volt at T equals to uh, 27 degree Celsius or 300 some 300 Kelvin at room temperature. This is some few, like this is less than few milli electron volt. So what is then this like what is this thermal energy means? Like there is like at this temperature there will be constant amount of energy supplied to the, so if that amount of energy will supply, then this electron will free out actually. So this ideally this electron, fifth electron should be bonded to the phosphorus atom. It should not be free. But what is happen? This activation energy of this electron is less than 25 milli electron volt. So at the room temperature, this all the electron will move to the conduction band actually, and this you can simulate. So if you reduce the temperature, then this electron may not be occupied. So when you must have heard about this complete ionization. So complete ionization means that if you dope Nd number of atoms, how many numbers of atoms has given the electron actually. So this is this ionization. So you can draw the like ideal case. In the more practical case, you can draw like how many number of Nd plus by Nd. This is governed by the activation energy of uh, this conduction meant to the activation energy of dopant. So this is some degeneracy factor exponential of EC minus ED by KT something. Yeah. So the this dope so the fraction of this, like, so what happens is, if you dope Nd number of atoms, if you put Nd number of atoms, Nd number of phosphorus atom, so if you put Nd number of phosphorus atom in the semiconductor 1 centimeter cube, then it may happen this all of that atom is not ionized. So the more advanced level textbook, so they write Nd plus as the electron concentration. So Nd, so basically this Nd plus is the electron concentration, because this phosphorus atom, one atom is giving us one atom is given as one electron. That means number of electrons and number of ionized atoms. So Nd plus is the number of ionized atoms. And since if suppose some impurity you dope like this, you dope the fifth material. If you dope this silicon is a group 4 element. If you dope some 7 element material, then that can give 2 electrons. So then you need to write Nd equals to 2 times Nd plus basically. So basically each dopant atom will contribute to the 2 electron to the conduction actually. So is that answer your doubt in some way? So is it clear now? So basically dopant atom, so like in the conduction, basically this dopant atom is not moved. So this dopant atom has very huge activation energy. This dopant atom will move at some 1000 or 1200 degrees Celsius when you do this annealing. So in case of annealing only this can move, and that the temperature to anneal the sample is around 1000 or 7 800 degrees Celsius annealing. Then only this dopant energy. But at room temperature, this electron has very less activation energy. This can be. So this after this this whatever the atom you have introduced, those are immobile. This at phosphorus atom will become immobile, but whatever the electron they donate to the crystal, that will become mobile. So is that answer your question? Is that fair details are there? Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. So if you have any other doubt, then you can ask. So mostly, so if you can simulate this kind of things also in the dopant. So this as you reduce the temperature actually, so this function you can plot. So this Nd plus will, if you reduce this temperature, then this Nd plus by Nd will start decreasing actually. So when this Nd plus by Nd will become 0, that is known as, one phenomena is there, this carrier freeze out. So if you can search this carrier freeze out, carrier freeze out. So when the carrier freeze out is there, no no electrons are present in the conduction band actually. All the electrons is bounded to this phosphorus atom, because the temperature is not enough to send this electron from this dopant energy level to the conduction band. So that can happen at the low temperature. So in case of this dopant kind of thing, the carrier freeze out phenomena occur, like if you reduce the temperatures below a certain level. So this is well known phenomena. Even you can find in certain textbook. I feel this textbook is this semiconductor device fundamental, or semiconductor devices, semiconductors. I think it will be there in the standard book. So this carrier freeze out is there. So semiconductor, I know one book, Semiconductor Devices by M.S. Tyagi is one book. So he is IIT Kanpur professor. In this carrier freeze out phenomena, and this is discussed in quite length detail actually. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Okay, fine. Yeah, so maybe like I don't know this sometime. Yeah. So if you can refer, I think it may be available on some Google Books something. You can read those things. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I think we can end this session today. So thank you so much. We will have meet next time. See, yeah. Bye. Have a nice time.